Today I'm going to talk about Yellow Cab. Yellow Cab is a newly published graphic novel by IDW, and it is the adaptation of the book Yellow Cab by Benoit Cohen, and it's adapted by Christophe Chabouté, and I hope I did not mangle the gentleman's name. I'm a big fan of Chabouté's work, great cartoonist, and I was looking forward to this. This book came out a few years ago in France and finally made it in an English edition, I think last month in May or April or May. So the story takes place starting in 2015, where Benoit Cohen is in New York. He's burnt out from making films. He's a filmmaker. He's burnt out on making films, writing scripts, and he's trying to think of an idea or to do something that would give him the idea to make his next movie. And he decides that he's going to be a New York taxi cab driver, and he's going to use those experiences to create a plot and a movie based on a female cab driver protagonist. And the art here is just really, really lovely. I like what he does with the use of silhouettes, these blacks. He does what you find in manga, where he'll omit the details that you don't need to focus on what you do need to see. I love, this is a thing that he does a lot with these silhouettes that talk to each other. And I just like how they're similar, but there's slight movements when they're having their discussions. And he decides that he's going to be a cab driver. And I would say the first third of the book talks about his experience of just trying to get to be a cab driver in New York. And I just love this how accurately he portrays things, because he's riding the subway, and this feels like not super cramped, but a fairly common time in when you go to the subway, where there's just a lot of people there. Some people are falling asleep, some people are standing, some people are just sitting. And it goes through the whole process of, in this really Byzantine way, of becoming a New York cab driver. And then early in the morning, as 4 a.m. to get up to go to line. I just loved all this use of blacks again. And then he goes for 2 months back to France for the summer holidays, and he comes back. And again, here, just nothing. You don't really need it. You just need to see the plane touching down. But then here, when you're in the actual airport, you see everything you need to see. And one thing I also like about Chabouté's work is just he does really good facial acting. Because Benoit Cohen takes a cab, and he talks to the cab driver, and he tells the cab driver, yeah, I'm going to be a cab driver too. And then the cab driver just reacts with this face, and then this face where he's looking back at Benoit Cohen. And then he tells him, sir, don't do it. Don't do it. And then you have this silence between them, and then the cab, a shot of the cab going away. This is just a really well done 3-page sequence where he's all excited to come back, become a cab driver, and the cab driver who's been there for 7 years tells him, look, man, don't do it. Then later on, he finally gets his license and passes whatever minimal classes they have and becomes a cab driver. And again, he does a really good job just to make you feel what it's like to be like in the lot here with all these cars. And more importantly, he does a really good job when he's finally on the road of giving you the feeling like you're in traffic, you're in New York City. Here, like you see, it's from the point of you're driving, you're seeing these tall buildings, these skyscrapers, and then the look on his face, that worried look, and he's looking for a fare, and he finally finds one. And then different fares, and then the different fares will tell you where he picked them up. And as he's doing this, he's narrating a little bit, and he's talking about ideas he has for his female protagonist, what she's going to do. Does this experience fit? Could I do this with this experience, but then change it a little bit? But as he's doing it more and more, he's still not fully, I guess, fulfilled as far as what he's going to do. And he becomes, more proficient with the city. Again, this acting where like somebody's walking by and they just makes a funny face. and then the eyes here and the eyes here, and then just that smile. It's just really subtle, great cartooning to convey the expression on his face, which just helps tell the story. This is just really excellent cartooning. And then at the end, he realizes that instead of trying to tell a female protagonist story, that he should really be telling his own story. And there's a little nice sequence at the end that kind of like ties things up really well. But this is just a really interesting, hard to put down graphic novel. The cartooning, like I said, is excellent. The writing, I mean, it's based on a book, but the writing is sharp. The dialogue is good. It's not wasted. It's not meandering. It's not too quick. It's just right with the flow. Again, his ability to make you feel like you're in the cab and you're out in the streets driving, and all these different characters, passengers, that he meets. It's just really well done. I really like this book. I'm hoping that IDW continues this way, especially since they're losing the licenses for Transformers and G.I. Joe. And more importantly, the trend is to get away from floppies. I'm hoping that they do more of this, because these European graphic novels don't get a lot of promotion, don't get a lot of buzz, but they're excellent. And I'm hoping that they continue to do more, because these kind of books should be available to readers who want to read them, just to find a different type of storytelling. It's $19.99, just came out this, let's say, April or May. Easy to find at your local comic book store. And I really recommend this. This is a great story. I wasn't as happy with his adaptation of Moby Dick. I think he missed some of the themes of that book. But this seems like he really... This comic is just a great graphic novel. I haven't read the novel, so I can't compare it, but this is a really good story. It feels complete. It feels like he really did an excellent job adapting this. Anyway, thanks.